afternoon. Welcome to the Axalta Engineered for Speed booth at SEMA 2016. I'm Lisa Myrie-Luke with Axalta Coating Systems Corporate Affairs. This is a very exciting time for Axalta. We've been celebrating our 150th year of innovation all throughout this year, and we're so pleased to be back here at SEMA 2016. We've been trailblazing way back when we painted stage coaches, and we continue to do so today with the development of innovative, fast-drying coatings. We were the first automotive company to launch a Color of the Year campaign. We launched it a couple years ago, as some of you may remember, here at SEMA. And we're back with our 2016 Color of the Year, Brilliant Blue, which you can see right here on Jason Rietz's 34 Ford Coupe. But today, we're excited to reveal an iconic car from a classic coming-of-age movie, American Graffiti. And we have some special guests to help us do so. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleague who's going to serve as our MC this afternoon, Jim Muse, who is Axalta's North American Sales Director. Jim?
Yay. Thanks, Lisa. Is that too loud? So listen, we do have a lot of special guests to bring up on stage today. I mean it when I say it, this is a very exciting day for me personally. The gentleman that owns this car and I started on this journey for me a year ago, for him a whole lot longer than that. But before we go into the special guests, let's think about 1973 for a second, right? Aerosmith drops their first album. The Miami Dolphins have the first undefeated football season. Second generation of a Mustang, and yep, American Graffiti hits the movie theaters. Now I know this only because of the research I've done, because I'm not nearly old enough to be there in 1973. Stop that laughing, I know. And I don't know whether the guy that's going to come out here first was old enough to be there on opening weekend, but I do want to bring him out quickly because he really is the guy behind this project. Three-time NASCAR champion crew chief and host of Velocity's hit show Americana, ladies and gentlemen, Ray Everham.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, you're all smiles, I can see.
Yeah.
This has been one heck of a journey for us over the last year.
Unbelievable, and thank you very much for just getting behind this project, and to be here with Axalta at SEMA and our other special guests is just a hoot. I'm really, honestly, I've done over a few years, because I was old enough to see the movie when it but with as many cars and as many races and things that we want, I've got to tell you, I'm more excited today than I have been in a long time. When you talk about this car, it just so near and dear to me, and just really excited because it's been a life's journey to own this thing.
Oh my God! So before we unveil this thing in a little while, what amazes me is I've been to your museum, so I've seen some of your work. This isn't the only one you own, is it?
No. And I don't know how many cars I own, so don't ask me. And the reason I don't know that is because if my wife ever asked me, I can tell her I don't know. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
So you have, I think, you have one that looks similar to this one.
Well, I had kind of given up actually owning the real car because it just seemed too far out of my reach and seemed impossible to get. So I bought one that looks like it, and I drive it and have a lot of fun with it, but it's not like having the real one. You know, people look at it and go, oh, well, that's not the real car. Well, yeah, I know. But I do drive the other one. But I have driven this one too. we almost got a little trouble the other night with it.
So this one, you know, the way you restored it, you did something pretty unique with it, right? It wasn't exactly the way the car was built, but it was somehow you wanted to make it the way the movie was. Is that correct?
Well, with movie magic, and we all have something in our lives that inspires us, and the American Graffiti movie really drove me more towards cars than anything else in my life, and I had a vision of what that car would be. So when we got it, there were a few things changed on it, and it really was not in great shape, and we had to choose to either leave it alone and not restore it, or restore it but do it right. And we chose to restore it because, again, I called you guys and said, look, one of the key things about this car is the paint and the stripes, and they're in bad shape, they're falling off. What are we going to do? So we had to talk about how to preserve this car. And we went through great pains to put this car as it was in that movie. And when I say that, Axalta was at my shop, I think, more than they were at Hendrick working on the race cars, you know, checking colors and doing stripes and doing things. So we took this car apart and rebuilt everything on it and put it back together, not as a 1958 Chevy would be for classic Concours, but as it would be in the movie, with as many original parts and pieces in the movie as we could, right down to the interior. Because as you'll find out from our other guests, you know, tuck and roll was important. We took the original interior out of the car, had it repaired with the same year batch of material that it was built with, re-dyed, put the original interior back in the car. Left a lot of the things from the movie where Toad backed into the guy at the traffic light, car still has the dent. Some of the holes that they put in it to run camera cables through. They cut holes in the chassis to actually put a cameraman on the side of the car. We kept all those things original to the movie. And in the movie, Toad said, it's got a 327 with 6 Strombergs. Well, the original engine block of the car was a 348. It was broken and lost, and we decided, I want that car to be what people thought it was in the movie. So we found an original and a tough 1962 327, which was the first year. You hot rod guys know that was not easy. And an original Offenhauser 6 Stromberg manifold. So the car's got the original, you know, what Toad said it had for a motor. It's got the original interior. You guys did an amazing job matching the paint because, look, we know we couldn't paint it the way they painted it because some of that stuff they use not even legal anymore. Yep. And we documented and digitized the stripes and made templates, and had to put the stripes back on imperfectly. They're not the same side to side. They don't match height. We had to do all that perfectly. So we matched them perfectly, imperfect, right down to the overspray. And you know how hard it is to match overspray?
Very
It's hard.
And that fogging that we found out, right, on the striping was so difficult to match up.
Yeah, it really was, and we tracked down the people who were involved with the car originally, and unfortunately the man that put the stripes on has passed away. So Dan Baker and Michael, we brought in a really highly talented pinstriper named Bruce Bone, who does many of our race car restorations, and he and Dan Baker figured out a way to duplicate that stuff. As I said, incredibly, because we got templates and measurements from before we took the car apart, and it matches exactly. So this car really is exactly like it was in the movie. It's just new again.
So when you think about it being new again, and you think about this project, I can't think of a better time for somebody to come out on stage with us and chat about this project and our partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, Axalta's President of North America, Mike Carr.
Thank you, Jim.
Glad to have you, Mike.
Yeah. Well, first of all, number one, first and foremost, the reason we got to this project is because we have a great partnership. We have a great partnership with Hendrick Motorsports, and we have a great partnership with Ray Everham. We've been working with Ray for quite a long time in a lot of venues, and especially, of course, in NASCAR. You know, this project really shows you just what kind of commitment we have to the automotive industry. Axalta has been in coatings for 150 years. 150 years. That's back before the automobile, the first automobile went down the line 90 years ago. So we've been in the automotive business all along, both at OE and in the aftermarket in the refinish space. It takes a lot of technology to be able to do a project like this and make sure that you're protecting the car while you're beautifying it. You know, Ray gave you a little bit of detail there about the fact that we really had to replace lacquer on this car, which is a way outdated technology. And it has, you know, our Chroma Premier product on it today. So there's a lot of things that Axalta is doing. We are motivated to continue with projects like this. We are very focused on technology. We're building a new technology center in Philadelphia where our home base is. We're putting a new training center on the Hendrick Motorsports campus in Charlotte. So there's a lot of great things happening at Axalta right now. This is just one example of that.
No, Mike, thanks so much. You know, and you speak about the partnership with Ray and the fact that, you know, whether this thing began with motorsports, what we really found out about Mr. Everham is just what a lover of the automobile he is. And if you have ever an opportunity to see his collection, it's all over the place. It's like
my mind. Is that what you're gonna say?
It really is all over the place, but you can't stop looking at anything in that shop, and this is certainly going to be the crown jewel of it. You know, Mike, you talked about technology, we talked about matching the colors. You know, I think it's tomorrow here, we're going to celebrate the placement of our 40,000th spectrophotometer, which is a color matching tool, computerized color matching tool, which is a big milestone for us. 40,000 of those units in the marketplace is pretty impressive. And we would not have been able to do what we did, you and Dan and our guy Carl Kishbaugh, without that type of technology and commitment to technology. So, you know, our technicians that worked with you, you know, they do know their way around old technology and new technology.